Hello, my fellow Namekians. It is me, Red the Super Namek, and we are here doing another tier list. Well, it's not a tier list, it's a top 20 list. It's different. We haven't done one of these in about 4 years. The last time we did this, we did a GameCube tier list. And last time I was joined by my good friend Blaque Pauldron. So, I have him here again. He's joining me for the NES top 20 list. Yeah. So, he's right there. My man, Blaque Pauldron. You can introduce yourself if you want.
I am his man, apparently.
Yo.
The man in the mask, Blaque Pauldron.
And we have a few new people here. I'm just gonna go however you guys show up on my screen. So, first it's Ob.
Hello.
Hi. Next up, we have Cherry.
Oh, that's me.
That's
I'm
Cherry.
Cherry.
Yeah. And lastly is King Kaz or whatever you want to be called.
I was told that if I didn't do this, they would kill my parents. No, I'm just kidding.
I wasn't.
Anyway, so yeah, we're here today with the NES tier list of top 20 games that we've just kind of came together and talked about what our top 20 games were. These are all kind of games where at least two of us have played, like each one of these games. Two or more of us played every one of these games. So to go in order, I guess, there's Mario Bros. 1, Mario Bros. 3, Kid Icarus, Kirby's Adventure, Tetris, Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest or whatever you want to call it, Ghosts and Goblins, Final Fantasy 1, Zelda 1, Mega Man 2, Tiny Toon, Ice Climber, Metroid, Duck Hunt, Punch-Out featuring Mike Tyson, Contra, Dr. Mario, Castlevania, DuckTales, and the original Donkey Kong. So, I guess we can just go in order then. Mario 1. What do you guys think?
That's number one.
Oh, I disagree, but it's high up there. I would put it at like a 5.
Oh, this is top. Oh, I see how you're doing the grid list. I need my glasses. Okay, so at number 5.
I'm just gonna put it there for now until we kind of get everything else.
Oh yeah,
on
we're
the board.
probably gonna start debating on where to move these.
Yep.
All right, close to the top. I mean, I'm with it. That's
Cherry, Ob, any objections?
Well,
I really don't have an opinion on the NES or NES, whatever the fuck.
so you've never played this game.
You've never played Mario 1.
I probably have, maybe.
Well, if you don't have any memory of it, then I'm not gonna hold.
I actually debate because we got a few platformers.
We have
on
a few
this
bangers.
list, as you do, as you will. Don't get me wrong. It basically kickstarted a lot of things.
It saved the video game industry, technically.
It saved the industry. I am fully on board with that. But it's hasn't been aged like really well. Like it's very stiff and slippery at times.
It's slippery, yeah. I can agree with that.
And I think that others that we have in this list have done it better, personally, at this point.
All right. So would you lower it from a 5?
I think I would probably put it on like a 7, honestly.
That's fair. Well, I'll meet you halfway. We'll go to a 6.
Once we get them up there, it'll start to look a lot more clear.
Yeah.
Where things belong. But nah, Cherry does have a point. The game is, and I mean this literally, mid.
Wow. I mean,
is it a fun game? Is it a solid game? Do you know what to
Yes.
expect from it? Is it gonna let you down? Nah, it's pretty consistent.
I mean, it's still a top, at this point, top 10 game of the NES. So that's still saying something, mind you.
And what game is this again?
Mario 1.
Okay,
Original Mario game.
But I guess we should go to Mario 3 now. Do we think it's better or worse or
Infinitely
Oh,
better.
it's definitely. I'd say that's number 3. Like
number
joke
3?
aside, like I think that is
Ironically.
solidly number 3.
Mario Bros 3 for number 3. Okay.
I'll give it. I would say number 2, but
I had something different in mind for number 2.
I have a few things in mind.
this was my game. This is the game I played the most on the NES.
Yeah, I played a lot of this too.
So I have a little bit of bias towards it, but it is one of the best games on there.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Jared?
I think it's number 1.
Oh,
We all know what number 1 is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think number 1 is way too obvious at this point.
Yeah, Ghosts and Goblins.
Duck Hunt.
you
Bugs.
shut your mouth. Okay, anyway, Kid Icarus.
I would say that
Sub 10.
I would say
Yeah,
15.
15 kind of works with it. It definitely is like it is Metroid's sister game, but unlike Metroid, it didn't really take off until much later in its life, and I mean much later when Pit was introduced into Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and people really commented, "Man, that game was kind of good, but boy was it difficult."
Well, I don't know if it was difficult or just cheap.
It was NES difficulty, which it was.
Yeah.
I've heard from other people's comments on the game. I've heard that the community at large feels like the game was very cheap.
Yeah.
Like it's not a difficulty thing or a mechanics thing. It's
Oh,
just that
it's
the way
not-
it was
yeah.
programmed is cheap.
It's not just the community, it is the developers of the Kid Icarus games, and like Nintendo themselves acknowledged the cheap aspect of it, where in Kid Icarus Uprising, it comments that the first level of the original game was brutally difficult.
That's fair.
And
Real
he is
game.
right, though, the game does get easier. After you get past that first level, it does feel like it gets easier.
Interesting. Alright, well, next up, Kirby's Adventure. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I think it goes just under Mario 3. And even to the point where if Mario 3 goes down, then Kirby has to be right underneath it. Like, those two games are, like, very, 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 very close together. Like, they were
I'll say
both...
top 5.
Both Kirby and Mario 3 were late NES games, and they look gorgeous for the system.
For sure.
I don't know.
Mario 3 was 89.
And Kirby was 90s.
Kirby's was in the 90s. Kirby, I
think
I
it
don't
was,
think it's better than Mario 3, but it's definitely in the top 5, I think, because they had at that point grasped what they were doing with their games at that point,
and what they could do with the NES.
and what they could do with them and everything. So it shows that honestly, if they wanted to, Kirby could have probably very easily ended up being an early SNES game if they really wanted to wait on it.
Yeah. I can see that.
So I'm
Definitely
happy
say,
with it.
Alright.
I just say
Wow.
top 5.
Yeah. Next up is Tetris.
It's fucking Tetris. It has to be number 1.
Everybody freaking.
Let me put it this way. You ask any person on the planet what Tetris is, and they will be able to tell you what Tetris is.
I don't think there's a person on the planet that doesn't know what Tetris is.
But I mean, that's because it's infectious. It's a very simple game.
Yeah, and that's why I think it deserves number 1. It's like, look,
I-
you can talk about, like, there is a point where something becomes so iconic that it kind of has to be.
Okay, there's iconic, and then there's like just familiar.
And mind you, this is our list. This is not my personal list. This is not your personal list. This is not Pauldron's personal list. This is our personal list. Okay? So when we're talking about this, yeah, we can talk about, oh yeah, it was really impactful for like the gaming community, but like, you know, at the end of the day, this is our personal list. So if we say, oh yeah, this game was so influential, like it changed everything. Sure, but like, is it just because it's the first of its kind, or it's because it's actually good? You know what I mean?
Well,
It is good.
Tetris is a fast-paced puzzle game.
Yes.
It's not really. It's not really an original idea. It's just an original execution of an old idea.
And when I say this, I'm talking about the list. I'm talking about the list in general. Like this entire list is, our kind of personal.
Yeah.
But honestly, a lot of and honestly, a lot of people say Tetris is actually the perfect video game. You start out. It's very easy to
I have
understand.
an off-topic question. What was Pong or Pong?
Pong? Yeah.
That was Atari 2600.
Well,
Atari,
no. Pong was on Pong. It was originally just paddles. There was no cartridges. It was just.
It was commercially.
That was the first video game, right?
No,
as far as most people are concerned, most normal people who know anything about video game history will associate it with the Atari, but Pong was originally just
its own thing.
Basically a tech demo for virtual gaming.
Yep.
As opposed to tabletop gaming or sports or whatever. It was a brand new thing. And so Pong was one of 3 games that were originally created as a means of testing virtual gaming.
But as I was saying, people say that this is the perfect video game, and I can see kind of where they're coming from, because it's super easy to play the game. The controls are super easy. It's easy to understand the game, but the game gets harder as you go, and the only way you can go further in is if you get better, and you can only get better if you play more. You know what I mean? And there's.
But
what's up?
isn't that the case of every game ever?
Right, but I'm just saying that's what people consider. That's why people consider this the best video game, and I don't know if I agree about that.
So I've modified my argument a little bit to include what you just said, but my thing with Tetris is that you're not really there's really no, it's not dynamic. Would you really, if you had a choice for the rest of your life, would you only play one game for the rest of your life? Doesn't matter how frequently you game or how infrequently you game. Would you pick Mario 3 or Tetris for the rest of your life?
Well, Tetris, every game is different.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Randomized.
I mean, but so what? I mean, can you really call that variety?
Yes.
Okay, so let me give you an example here.
Oh boy.
no, just real quick.
No,
So,
I'm listening.
Your meals throughout the day consist of the same 3 meals every day. Okay, for the rest of your life, right?
Right.
But here's the twist: you can eat those meals in any order throughout the day. Would you still call that variety?
Yeah.
Shit, let's make it 6. Let's make it 6 meals. Let's make it 12 meals. Doesn't matter. Would that would mix it up for you enough? That'd be enough. It was like this. If you know what you're gonna get every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not enough for me. It isn't open-ended.
No, I know what you're trying to say, and I kind of agree with you.
I mean, just because it's random. I play procedurally generated games. I play games that are completely RNG. You guys do what are those called when you randomizers for you guys do randomizers for Zelda and Pokemon and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that mixes it up because you absolutely have your experience is going to be different playing the game every single time, but there's more robustness to the game. Tetris is just Tetris. The goal is the exact same every single time.
I mean, same could be said for Mario.
But you can get immersed into Mario. Can you get immersed into Tetris?
But yeah, it's just, the faster you think, the better you get, technically.
I will put it this way. Tetris has actually been proven to have psychological effects on people's brains.
That is true.
Everything has psychological effects.
No, the Tetris effect is a actual psychology study that has shown that people who play Tetris enough end up actually living their lives in a sense where everything can be equated to Tetris.
That sounds horrifying.
It's very horrifying.
I've seen this. It's not even that bad. Like I guess I've never seen a really severe case of this, but even I do it. Like I'm really organized. Okay? And I think about Tetris whenever I'm like trying to fit a whole bunch of stuff into a small space. I move a lot, and my mind goes there.
For itself, then. Like I think that.
Well, I mean, okay, true, but it's really just kind of like a nurture thing. It's no different than any kind of practice you would do. I'm also good at martial arts, and that came from, watching kung fu movies, getting interested in that, and then actually doing it in real life until I was good at it. I don't really see the intrinsic value of Tetris, personally. Whereas with Mario, there's a whole lot of actual creativity derived from it, where Tetris just kind of makes you more practical.
I mean, I would I'd also say that when we do more of these, we're gonna see Mario a lot on here.
Okay, so look, I'll concede to Tetris being number 2 because of the impact. Like I know what you were talking about before, Red, but because of the impact that it has had on people. Okay, I'm not a big fan of Tetris. I have played the hell out of it, but number 2 is okay for now. We'll see.
So, I'm just gonna say it. I'm going through the list down here, and I'm looking up here. Man. For number 1, I'm kind of torn between Mario 3 and Tetris.
It's obviously Duck Hunt.
I don't know if you're jossing or not.
The hand-eye coordination alone required to play Duck Hunt. Okay.
Or you
that
could just.
dog.
I mean, to be fair, you could also just point it at a lamp and. Go.
You know what? Okay.
That's cheating.
Is it cheating or is it understanding mechanics of mechanical skill?
No, that's meta as hell. If you point it at a lamp, that is meta as hell.
Wait. I'm just gonna say. Cherry.
Yes.
Would you rather have Mario 3 at number 1 or Tetris?
Me?
Yeah.
Mario 3.
Okay. Pauldron, would you rather have Tetris or Mario 3?
Mario 3, just because there's much more to gawk at. Like, I just don't... Tetris is, like, the dystopic future.
Okay.
Whereas Mario more imitates life.
Kaz, would you have Tetris or Mario 3?
Tetris.
Okay. Ob.
I don't know. Tetris. I haven't played Mario 3.
He's never played Mario 3.
So that means it's 2v2 right now.
I say we just add more to the list and keep having the discussion.
Yeah,
now, leave it how it is for now.
Because we might be like,
hey, I got you. Here's a solution. Put them both in 2.
Yep, fair enough.
But we have 20 games. And we have 20 numbers. We can't do that.
I understand. Temporary.
Oh, okay, temporary. Okay.
Yeah.
This is just so we can remember what we need
Or
to
better yet, we want to put them both in 1, and then if we find something that's so solid that it needs to like knock itself up into around that area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna leave it at number 2 for now.
We're just gonna come back to the competition.
Okay. Super interesting one. Okay.
Getting philosophical in here.
Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest 1.
20.
I understand. But what it did for the RPG genre is insane. It's
okay. I understand that, but we've literally got an RPG on here that did everything Dragon Quest 1 did, but better.
You're right.
What was the release of both games?
Dragon Warrior? I think that was... I think it was 90 or 86 and 87. Like, they were super close together.
I'm just saying they didn't make the
Dragon Quest
game.
1 was 86, and Final Fantasy 1 was 87. Yeah, so about a year, almost exactly a year apart.
I'm just saying like how much like they were both in development.
Yeah,
Well, no, Dragon
no,
War.
not
No,
back
no, no.
then. Back
So
then,
so
games didn't take that
Dragon
long.
Warrior came out, and then Square Enix was like, "Oh, that's a pretty good game. Let's try to make a game that's kind of like it."
They developed that in a year.
Yes. Oh yeah, back in the day, games were developed a lot shorter periods of
I'm
time.
underestimating the
NES.
no the development cycle for games at the time.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah,
but
back then it was-
I didn't grow up in the 80s. I was born in 1980.
Well, I think back then they can complete a game in about maybe 4, 5, 6 months, maybe.
I mean, the ET game was done in like what, a month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will say what I respect about Dragon Warrior is that it doesn't do any kind of hand holding. It just throws you out into the world, and all you know, you start on one side of the screen, and all you know is that you gotta save a princess or something, or someone, and it's at the evil castle, which is on the bottom right corner of the screen as soon as you start the game. All you know is that you gotta get there, and you gotta figure out how to move around the world, and where to go, and who to see, and what NPC to talk to tell you where to go. Like, the game doesn't...
You want to know how to,
The game is like, okay, go figure it out.
you want to know how to make a game open world without doing anything?
Dragon Warrior. And Zelda 1, technically.
No guides. A game will become open world very quickly if you do not provide any information on how to play the game.
I mean, when I say there isn't a lot of handholding, I mean, you start the game, all you know is that you gotta save the princess, and that's it. You can walk around, you can explore, oh hey, there's a town over there, let's go check it out. You go there, you talk to a bunch of random NPCs that are just wandering around, the game doesn't force you to talk to them. They're like, oh hey, did you hear that, this ancient cave has a tomb of the legendary hero, and that's it. And it's like, oh, okay. And then you're like, maybe I should go check that out. You check it out. It's like, oh, this is Erdrick's grave. Oh, wow, that's interesting. And like the NPCs kind of nudge you, but don't make it super obvious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me say this. So because I brought up the release dates and the development thing because I was trying to bring some more concrete authority to the whole which game did it better kind of thing. But I feel like in general, between the four of us, we're doing this based on the experience and the impact that it had on us, and we're just trying to filter. We're just trying to filter which one of our opinions lean one way or the other as far as the numbers left. So where would you put it?
Personally, like, just above Mario 1.
I think that's fair. Because if Mario 1's gonna sit at 6 or 7, this game, I
can move Mario 1 down to 7 and put Dragon Warrior in number 6.
I haven't played that game to completion. I did get to experience it a little bit, but doing research on it, it's much more fulfilling than Mario is. Now, I think hindsight plays a lot into Dragon Warrior being a decent game. Like you really had to have played it. And then look back
and the thing
on it.
is, like,
I feel like
the game came out in the 80s. You know what was really big back then? D&D.
Yeah.
Dragon Warrior is inspired by D&D in a lot of ways. And
most RPGs are.
Right, but like this is the first big one.
Well, I mean, they also had text adventure games.
Right, but this is the first one with like real graphics, quote unquote.
No, but I'm saying if it's gonna be there, then that makes sense.
But that's just my opinion. Kaz,
No,
you haven't really said anything. What do you think?
Well, I definitely don't think it or Final Fantasy belong actually that high up. strictly because while these games are fantastic and genre defining, like genre creating even, their later entries do them so much better. If this was Dragon Quest 3, I would say it goes, but it's Dragon Quest 4.
Well, that's why it's number 6. It's not in top 5.
I would say it and Final Fantasy, and you all can decide which goes higher. I think they're 8 and 9.
Okay, I can respect that. Cherry?
I think that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. That's
I still think it goes near the bottom.
not it. Sure, was pretty far on that.
Like, how far down? It's better than
I
Kid
think
Icarus,
it's
for
under
sure.
Kid Icarus, honestly.
Under Kid Icarus. Ooh.
Well, okay, so like I also think this has a lot to do with the genre itself because it's an RPG, right? So you're expecting a lot out of it. Super Mario 3 is pretty peak when it comes to platformers. They have not evolved much since the early 90s, late 80s. You're still doing the same things in platformers. There's just more stuff. They just are able to cram more things to do in the games.
That is fair.
All right, I have not played a platformer to this day that was like, wow, that's different. You know what I mean? Like it's all just based off of Mario, but with more stuff. But it's like a cupcake that has an unending amount of frosting being added to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a cupcake. The frosting's
Right.
nice, but I can only have diabetes once. So yeah, no.
I
think it's definitely sub 5.
I'm comfortable with number 10. Are y'all cool with number 10?
I am fine with that.
Actually, no.
but you have to
I can
Final
put
Fantasy
I can put it at 11.
You have to put Final Fantasy like either above it or next under it because I don't think that they have to kind of go together.
They're very relative to each other.
They're
Well,
basically
okay. So we can get to that, but before we get to Final Fantasy,
Yep.
we have Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh boy.
20.
I wouldn't say it's the
No,
That
worst.
game is overrated.
No. It's not. It's actually not overrated. It's over talked about.
I would put it at 14, honestly.
It goes
that's
right
fair.
around Kid Icarus because
Yeah.
it is ball busting.
Ooh, 15,
But it
or
was
would you put it
made
above or
ball
under?
busting. Unlike Kid Icarus, which was an incident that they just admitted, yeah, we screwed up. It was done that way on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes
But,
down.
but you do have to give it points. It was the first game I ever played where you got to play the man in his underwear.
That's fair.
That was only if you were playing it suboptimally.
Which,
Sure.
when you're a kid is gonna happen. Also, that soundtrack goes kind of hard.
It does.
Being small in Mario is a punishment, and being in your underwear in Ghosts and Goblins is
It's
a
funny.
punishment.
It's
is
a
funny.
punishment, but it makes you laugh.
It's a much funnier punishment than what they did in Mario. But
Would we put it
I would
above
say this.
Kid Icarus or under?
I would say this. Kid Icarus was an accident, but Ghosts and Goblins. I feel like Ghosts and Goblins being hard should not count against it.
It was purposeful.
Yeah, but that's the thing. What can you say was a hard game on the Nintendo system? Like,
Ninja Gaiden?
I mean,
Castlevania?
do we have that on here?
No.
No. I usually don't think about Ninja Gaiden when I think about Nintendo, I'm gonna be real.
No, most people's fond memories of that game come in its later iterations.
But, like, here's my thing, and it kind of ties back to a different argument that we had with a different game, which was kind of like Tetris, where it gets harder the more you play it. If we're gonna hold difficulty against it, then Tetris would be lower on the list, and because of that,
That is fair.
I mean, what are we... Okay, so consensus-wise, what are all of our opinions on... I didn't play Ghosts and Goblins until I was an adult, but I did play it.
I played some Ghosts and Goblins. I'm more familiar with Super Ghosts and Goblins, or Ghouls and Ghosts, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I played it as a small child, a tiny bambino in my aunt's basement, and I never got past the first level.
Same.
Granted, I was like 8 or 9 when I played this. But like I said, that was kind of the point. Like, there was
Yeah.
So I'm kind of happy with where it actually is. Because even like I said, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't a oops, we screwed up. We admit it.
It's a feature.
It was we did it on
It's a feature.
purpose. Get good, scrub.
Okay.
This was like the first Get Good Scrub game, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Pushing gamers to be, to seek greater challenges, even if they were like impossible.
But even then, it's definitely one of Capcom's lower quality offerings.
I think that is a conversation that needs to be had about Capcom in general, because
that's different.
The Capcom is the most ball-dropping ass company, in my opinion, ever.
I'll put it this way: we have 2 Capcom games on here that are way better, and 1 game that is basically the same concept of a bunch of spooky horror creatures being fought by a knight, and it's really hard. That's just better on this list.
Well, next up, Final Fantasy 1.
You want to put it higher or lower? I'm fine.
I think it should go higher.
I
think it should go higher.
I can replay this game so freaking many times. I would put this. I would honestly put it above Kirby's Adventure, but I would be comfortable putting it above Mario Bros. 1.
I think so. Now, see, because this is what I said. Is it does Dragon Quest, but does it better?
Yep.
Because like
it has the class system.
Your things the same way. Now you still it is a little bit more to point A to point B, but they don't really hold your hand a whole lot like Dragon
Quest. It's a little bit easier.
You said that it's kind of like D&D with Dragon Quest. I would say Final Fantasy is more because it's an actual party.
Yeah, and you get to choose the jobs like at the beginning of the game. Mind you, if this was Final Fantasy 3, I'd put that at number 1, I'm gonna be honest. But with Final Fantasy 1, that game is so replayable because you can choose your starting Loto.
Also do challenge runs.
Well, and challenge runs, yeah. Like you can have a whole white mage party for the entire game. Like there isn't a single job that's mandatory in that game. The only thing about the original Final Fantasy 1 is that Thief did not work. The stat that they use just didn't work at all. So it was kind of a useless class. And I don't know how that got past testing, but whatever.
It was a different time.
It was a different time. There was no queue.
I haven't heard anyone say this, but I believe it was probably something to do with, release stuff. Like, they just didn't have time.
Yeah, probably.
They didn't have time to polish every single aspect of it. Because wasn't that the company's last title? Like, they were shut down after that?
Yes.
Well, let's
just get something out there.
That's been debunked by Sakaguchi in the last few years. But
I've never heard anything contrary to that. What's up with that? I mean, it was his last game though, wasn't it?
No. It was supposed to be Square's. Supposedly.
Okay, well, we'll just go with air quotes.
But yeah, I'm happy with where it is right now. I don't know. How about you guys?
Yep.
Totally.
Kaz?
Yeah, I would say a little lower, but that can be dealt with later if we see something that needs to go higher.
It's definitely better than Mario 1.
Yeah, we'd be bumping Mario 1.
I think Mario 1 is gonna be a lot lower on the list before we're done.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Legend of Zelda original.
That's easily number 3.
I have nothing to say.
This is number 2.
It really depends on the time of day.
Real number 2.
It really depends on the time of day, because some days I'm like, yeah, this is the best NES game, like no, hands down. But at the same time, like, I don't know, man. These 3 games right here.
Those were the
feel like
3 NES games.
Man, I'm kind of torn.
do not feel as strongly about Tetris as you do. Oh, man. Tetris just kind of doesn't exist to me.
Tell you what, I'm willing to compromise here because I know we put Tetris on the Game Boy, didn't we?
We haven't finalized that list yet.
All right. Well, Tetris is probably going in the top 20 for Game Boy as well.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel much better with Tetris being high on the Game Boy list because that is something to me that feels way more portable, like as a time killer.
I will say, the next one on the list, I'm gonna say bumps down Kirby's Adventure. The next one is
right.
Mega Man 2.
He's right.
It's not top 3, but it's top 4.
It is the best Mega Man game on the
I
NES.
would say 3 is my favorite, but that's just personal bias. But 2 is still really good.
Okay. Here we go. 2 they looked at 1 and they said, okay, how do we make this better? And it sets the bar for the series to follow.
Pretty much.
Because everything that they developed after this, the items became Rush. There was now 8 instead of 6.
Yeah.
The music did not sound like it came from a fart factory. It actually works with the Nintendo system.
It is some of the best video game music of all time.
Do I think it's the best in the series? No. I think that the game that grasped how the series needed to play, and I wish they had kept the synth formula, honestly, is 4, but
4 was solid.
I think 2 is definitely better than Kirby. There's a lot of replayability because you can play it normal, you can get the Japanese version and play it the way it was meant to be played.
Or, I was gonna say, you can just like I did.
You can cheese it with Metal Blade, you can actually try to do it the way they wanted you to do it. I mean, there's a lot of replayability in Mega Man 2.
When
Yeah.
your game has an entire fan-made song about it, I think you're a winner. And the Airman song is notorious among Mega Man fans. So.
I prefer 6.
But that was on the...
6 ain't one here.
Yeah, that's on the NES.
No, it's 1 through 6 on the NES, and then...
Oh, is 6 on the NES?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
7.
there was all the way up to 6? Holy shit.
Yep, and then 7
they
on
were-
the
Six
NES.
was my favorite.
They were legit rubbing the series like a stone, trying to get blood from it.
And I
It
thought
was all the same game, basically. To me, as a child, it was all the same game, just more stuff to fight.
Yeah, it's generally just like, which Robot Master do you like the most, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I
I
like
like
6's crew better.
my favorite is Snake Man, personally. But I still think Mega Man 2 is a very, very solid game. And
Belongs
definitely...
to the top 5.
Yes.
Belongs to the top 5.
Are you guys all...
We wouldn't have Mega Man without 2 because they didn't even want to make 2. Capcom originally wasn't going to let them.
That's
Yeah, I think
wild.
the
They,
best
very
they had
telling.
to work. They had to work on it on the side.
Wow.
Man, ever since the beginning, huh?
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah. I think that's because Capcom used to be a toy company, so they didn't really know what to do.
But 1 didn't meet their sales. Like, they saw 1 as a failure, honestly, is what happened. And they wanted to make a second one, and they were like, no, and they were like, please, and they were like, okay, but only if you work on this other game as your priority, and you have to do this one on the side on your own time.
So I think we all agree 4 is a good spot for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
Alright.
We're
Top
five.
definitely
Next-
top 5.
Yeah. Next up is Tiny Toon. I have no experience with this, so this is all
I
y'all.
don't know why is this here.
Hold on, real quick. I gotta ask this. When did this game come out?
Tiny Toons?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
1991, I believe.
Jesus Christ.
So, I remember the cartoon coming out much later.
No, it came out. The cartoon existed first. The cartoon came out. Let me see. I think the same year. Like that's how big it took off. 1990.
Good lord.
It took off that hard, and now I was the one who was like, we need to put this in the list. I mean, I was trying to put a couple of obscure ones, but this one in particular is a very good platformer. Honestly, I think it's better than Mario 1.
That's wild.
Well, I mean, I think all of the platformers, like I said, that we put on here are better than Mario 1.
It was the launch game of the system, so nobody really...
Yeah, but, so, Tiny Toons got big. Like, if you were a kid in the 90s, you watched it.
I watched it, I just was confused about when all this stuff was releasing.
The game came out in 91. It's very solid controls. It's hard as balls. Again. I think this is Konami, actually. Did this. Yeah, Konami did this one.
I mean, that alone.
It was very solid. It played tight. You played as Buster. And every world was 3 sets of levels, and you got to pick a partner, and every partner played different. They all had things they were good at, had things they were bad at, so it was kind of great because you could play it and challenge yourself by picking a character who was like totally crap at swimming and taking them with you through the water levels.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could take a character who like stuck everywhere. Dizzy. But yeah, I think it was pretty neat for that reason.
I also played the game, and I feel like it's definitely easier than Ghosts and Goblins and Kid Icarus, but it is definitely not an easy game. My experience with this game was that it was simply just too hard. I never got all the way through it.
I did once.
Was it fun, though? Yeah.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I never had a bad time with the game.
Yeah, I just couldn't beat it in the amount of time before the rental had to go back to Blockbuster.
So,
Well,
I would honestly say 12 or 13. Because it's a great tie-in to a cartoon series, which was the thing back in the 90s.
yeah.
Well, remember back when games didn't used to imitate the source material? They just were just games based on they were just games inspired by the source material.
Well, yeah, but this one you could totally see it like being a plot from the series.
Well, it was episodic, so yes.
I'm just gonna put it at 13 for now. We still have a few other games to go.
That's fine. That's cool.
Next up is Ice Climbers.
Never played it.
Own because I never touched this game ever.
Doesn't even care.
Okay, so
this is definitely a solid 20. Just hear me, because like, all right, Ice Climbers is the definition of Miyamoto had a favorite game and it was nothing special.
I think I like this more than Kid Icarus, but not more than Ghosts and Goblins. So I would move Kid Icarus down 1 and put Ice Climbers at 15. Because I actually really like this game. It is fun.
I want to bring up something that makes me dislike Ice Climbers. Like, not as the characters.
What, Smash Brothers?
No. Do you know the context of what you did in the original games? Like, in Japanese?
No.
You clubbed baby seals to death.
Okay, well, there we go.
I don't know what you thought those cameras were for.
That's all you need to say. Yeah, the Yeti enemies were baby seals.
Okay, well, that's going there. All right, Metroid.
Put that shit in the top 5.
I would put it above.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, like that.
Put that shit there. Keep that shit up there.
Come on, it's Metroid. It's Metroid.
It's Pokemon. You know what? You know what? Preemptively move Mario down to 10. I have a feeling there's 2 more games that go above him. Mario 1 is like the middle ground.
I was originally going to say
that's
Mario
a good. That's
is
good.
like locked into the 10th spot.
Yeah, that's a good spot actually.
Because I
like a
think I
perfect spot
know.
for that game.
I know one more game that goes in 8 and 9.
All right, Duck Hunt.
Bruh.
12.
Number one.
Are you being serious?
Look,
Pauldron, I need to know if you're serious.
look. There's just nothing. There's just nothing like it. What else is like it?
Hogan's Alley.
Hogan's Alley.
Oh my god.
The clay shooter thing.
Clay Shooter was
Duck
Duck
Hunt.
Hunt.
Own version.
Clay Shooter was
Any
Duck Hunt.
arcade game at the time that was a light gun game.
I say it's top 5.
Oh, then we would have to knock down Kirby.
Okay.
I'm actually
had
okay
it.
with that. I'm okay with that.
No,
I'm okay with
it's
that.
definitely not as good as Kirby.
As many people,
So top 6.
I had it in the one that actually came with Mario Brothers,
Yeah.
Yeah, the triple pack. Yeah.
and I had the light gun. And I'm gonna be real, I very rarely picked Duck Hunt over Mario.
I think I come from a very weird perspective. Or maybe not weird. Maybe I'm normal. I don't know. But growing up, I just happened to have an NES. Like, I don't know. After the year 2009, I found one from a yard sale. And me and my dad, we would always play the original Duck Hunt because he's a big time hunter. And he used to hang out at the arcades all the time back in the 80s and 70s. So he was like, "Oh yeah, Duck Hunt, that's awesome." So we were playing Duck Hunt, and we had a piece of paper taped to the side of the TV that had our scores, because the game wouldn't save our scores because the battery ran dry. But we had the score on like a scoreboard, like on a piece of paper. And I don't know, just memories of that is like super, super awesome. And I miss when games used to encourage that kind of behavior.
I mean, my whole, like, similar to Red, my whole thing with Duck Hunt was that it was a really fun game to play with somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, you weren't playing the game solo. That's not where I'm predicating it on. Like, this was back when you played the game with the family, cousins, etc., friends, whatever. And that game particularly was really good. Now we didn't have the what was the Olympics game, the track game?
Oh, World Class Track Meet. Yeah.
That was the best time I had ever had. That was my earliest memories of like playing a game that I thought was just like the best thing ever, because you're a little kid, you get like tons of energy, and just being able to spam stomp the floor without getting yelled at was one of the best things ever. Like, we're playing the game!
I mean, if we're going with like memories of double playing, then Tetris is gonna end up being number 1. But
yeah,
my experience with
that's
Tetris
the game
was
my dad plays, so I played that with him.
That's totally fair.
Like, with couch gaming, when it came to Tetris, was somebody was always completely whack and somebody else was like a fifth dimension genius. Like, it was never fair, and so I have no fond memories of playing that game with people.
I would be okay moving Metroid down to 8, Final Fantasy down to 7, Kirby down to 6, and putting Duck Hunt right at number 5.
That's
Personally.
crazy.
I
don't think I would
Kirby
move Kirby down for Duck Hunt.
No, definitely not.
So, like this then.
Yeah, I guess I could work with that.
Kaz?
I heavily disagree, but it's 3-1 here.
I mean, I think most people would disagree, and I'm not like gonna die on the hill for Duck Hunt, but I think if I'm being fair, Final Fantasy is better. So it should at least be number 6. It should be over Duck Hunt. I mean,
Man.
I mean, that's up to you. Do you disagree with me? Like,
No, well,
I mean, because
okay, so I will say, there are 3 games, technically 4 games, but there's 3 games that I played on my NES the most. Duck Hunt, Final Fantasy 1, and Zelda 1. You can technically say Tetris, but I played more of the Game Boy game.
Let me put it to you this way. What do you think? Which this is like you and me right now. I don't know if the other two will agree, but like, which one do you think has more replayability?
Well, Final Fantasy. Well, okay, between the 3 or the 2? Final Fantasy and Duck Hunt. Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy.
I would say Duck Hunt has more replayability.
I would say Final Fantasy. Personally.
I would say Final Fantasy.
I would also
because, like
say
we
Final
discussed,
Fantasy.
Well,
you could
I
do
think we
that
just
in so many different ways.
I
Final
think
Fantasy has.
You're just going for the high score every time.
Well, that's the thing though. Duck Hunt is replayable for, group gaming. Final Fantasy is better replayed for the single player experience.
Okay,
that's
but
fair.
see, we're going. We keep coming back to this. I keep bringing us back with that kind of rationale thinking. A certain Blaque game should be down with Duck Hunt.
I just don't really care about Tetris.
Wait. Cherry, would you put Tetris down?
Yes,
Down further than Mega Man?
I think so.
Further than Kirby?
I think it would be right above or below Duck Hunt. Honestly,
It's
Ooh.
such a
Okay.
This is such a dystopic game.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
get that, but we're not talking about the dystopian properties of it. We're talking about what we just said is basically the same.
Okay,
The
no,
end goal
I
is
respect
to
that.
score and
I-
getting as high as you can get with it.
I
It's
respect that.
basically Duck Hunt
It's a
without a
competition.
gun.
It's a competition game. Yes.
Yeah,
I respect that. Pauldron, where would you put it?
Okay, Tetris. I would put it over Duck Hunt.
Just over? Like just above?
Just over, like one up.
All right.
Because because too, like I may not like Tetris, but I do see the it's a much better game.
And Kaz, you would put it at number 1, I'm assuming, right?
I was willing to compromise and say Tetris to number 3 because Mario 3 and Mario 3 and Zelda can fight for number 1.
What's your favorite game, Kaz?
Metal Gear Solid 4.
No,
Would you play
NES.
Over Metal Gear Solid?
No, Tetris never made me fucking cry.
I mean, when you lost,
That's
maybe.
what I mean, unless you're like really losing to it a lot.
it made me cry, and then I handed.
So,
the remote to my
judging-
brother
I'm
so
sure
he could finish.
Tetris made lots of people rage.
So, no.
I'm just trying.
Yeah.
Look, I'm being difficult because I'm trying to make a case for the
Cherry brought up.
intrinsic value of Tetris.
No, I understand, and Cherry made a very, very, very valid point. If Duck Hunt and Tetris are different, but they're also very, very, very similar.
In the way you enjoy them, yeah.
Yeah.
Like most people's enjoyment out of them is to be competitive, and so
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're both score-based games, and
Their score, their random
skill-based.
fly in random directions.
fantastic arcade style game.
Drop randomly.
it's
so
skill-based,
there.
and yeah.
Lots of quarters.
And another game in a little bit will be in the same
I will say
situation.
something that's probably going to happen when we get the later game lists here is that eventually it's going to get more emotional in terms of like, objectivity because
Which will end.
well no like when we get past the once we start getting into the 3D era of gaming, it's going to have to be like, all right, we really got to look at this objectively.
Once we get
I
in the
think we're doing pretty
3D
good on the
era
objective.
of
Yeah, I
gaming,
think we're doing
the
pretty good so
further we-
far.
Yeah. But like
The
I'm
further
talking
we
objective
go-
overall, like in terms of the global impact, not just our own personal feelings.
Well, I don't really care what anybody else thinks, but that's whatever.
Wow,
Anyway,
powerful.
next up, Punch Out, featuring Mike Tyson.
Punch Out it's got to be top 10.
I'm gonna put it in 20, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. Look. I will say,
Yeah.
I'm- well, no.
The best
no.
iteration of it is
No.
you know what? 12 is
No,
a good spot.
listen. I love the speed running for it. I hate playing it, but I love the speed. I love to watch the speed runs. It's so interesting. But also, you're right. The Wii one is the best one.
Wii U doesn't have Mike Tyson.
Oh, but it does not like Tyson. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But it has a Canadian. It has a Canadian in the Wii one.
Shit, I'm about to get my balls busted here. We need to move on to Donkey Kong right now because those top spots are filling up, and it's fucking Donkey Kong.
Hold on. No, that's last. That's last. Next up,
let's say that for last. I got something to say about that game.
Contra. I
Contra.
did not
I think
like
that's
this game.
great.
I played that game. It is my first experience, and I think what you would technically be able to call a bullet hell.
Yeah, kind of.
It's a bullet hell, not a rail shooter.
I'm gonna be real. I like it, but it frustrates. I think I joked in a way about Dragon Quest. I think this would be my number 20. This game frustrated me to no.
I agree.
You know what? I think the biggest takeaway from Contra that everybody remembers is the Konami code.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think it it was iconic for its time, but it's definitely this age milk.
Remember, this is the 20 best, not the 20 poopiest. Or
Right. Yeah.
Number 20 doesn't mean it's complete shit. It just means it's number
Out
20.
of this list.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say it. Dr. Mario. 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
agree.
It's not the best, but it's.
I didn't even like this game. I would say number 20. I didn't even like this game.
It's in the same vein as Tetris and Duck Hunt,
But it's just
but
worse.
it's less enjoyable. It's like my entire playthrough of this level relies on Mario giving me half a yellow pill for this yellow virus that's in the middle of the jar.
So,
Banger soundtrack
really,
though.
here's the thing. This is because I was waiting to get to Dr. Mario to say this, because you've got all kinds of different variants of Tetris, and I think that that's really where the franchise, the series, the genre shines, is how you can transform it.
Yeah, you don't see a Dr. Mario 99. Like, come on.
Like
That
base
would be
Tetris-
amazing though.
Base Tetris to me is like, okay, I need a break from all the gimmicks. I just want some good old-fashioned Tetris. But, I wouldn't have played Tetris as much as I did if not for the gimmicks. Like, going back and forth between classic Tetris and the gimmicky games. Like Pokemon Puzzle League and Dr. Mario and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Well, no, that's just Puyo. I like Puyo.
And I understand that is Puyo, but Puyo is also part of this point that I'm making.
Yeah.
If I didn't play Puyo, I wouldn't have gone back to normal Tetris and just experienced what it was like,
Yeah, and I'm gonna be real. If we're doing a variation, I would rather play Puyo or Mean Bean any day over Mario's.
Yeah, me
Dr.
too.
Mario.
Yeah. Candy Crush.
What's
That
a
being
Candy
said,
Crush?
the better version of this game is yet again a spin-off, Dr. Luigi.
I'd rather play the
Why?
N64.
Because it's Luigi.
They just need to concede that Luigi is the superior. Like, the people want Luigi.
Where's
Oh.
Dr. Wally?
They did. He
Waluigi.
got his own year.
Dr. Waluigi.
You gotta
You joke that exists.
get better.
So.
You
Smash
remember
up
the
pills
Dr.
to
Mario
keep-
mobile game?
Oh my gosh.
Match up the pills and cure the foot fungus.
There was Dr.
So-
Goomba's Tower, where it was just literally 3 Goombas in a trench coat were apparently strong and powerful enough to get a licensed PhD for performing doctorate abilities.
Creativity.
So next up is Castlevania.
Your thing is
Okay, we are at the
You
last
should
two
move
here.
your face over.
Yeah, also.
Oh, you're right,
I'm
you're
gonna
right.
Be honest. No, red. This is gonna sound.
I'm gonna put it here.
You need to move everything under Castlevania down one then.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at what's coming up. Yep, you're right. Yep.
You cannot deny that it doesn't deserve to be in top 10.
I can't see. You need to move your head.
DuckTales is number 11.
Oh yeah.
Because I think we know where this is going.
Yep. And then Donkey Kong at number 10.
It's
Yeah,
fathering
yeah,
Donkey
yeah.
Kong. He is the king.
There it is. Do we agree with that? Donkey Kong and then DuckTales at 11?
Okay, wait. Where's Castlevania go?
9.
Castlevania's 9.
9.
It's underneath Metroid, which I think is fair. I'd rather play Metroid.
Also, funny enough, we're grouping Castlevania and Metroid together, which...
Yeah.
Okay, look. Where's Metroid at?
Number 8.
Number 8. And I agree.
I would say Castlevania is better than Metroid.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. Castlevania. I would honestly say it's... How to word this? If Ghosts and Goblins had a life bar, it's Castlevania.
Okay, I've never heard that before.
When I was talking about a game that is Ghosts and Goblins but better on list, I was referring to this.
Yeah.
Well, we all know that it's better than Ghosts
But...
and Goblins. I think that goes without saying. What do you think What do you think Metroid has over Castlevania?
I will say, Metroid is a lot more... It throws you into the world, and you explore. In Castlevania, it's stage-based. Metroid throws you into the world and says, go for it. You know what I mean?
Alright. So purely based on the fact that it is a backtracking platformer, and that it does a better job at that than later iterations of Castlevania will be.
Well, yeah, like Sympathy of the Night, whatever it's called.
Yeah, but I mean, but just in general, because Simon's put that a little bit of that too. But
a little bit.
And Castlevania 3 is really when the backtracking started happening. But
here's the issue.
Yeah.
Castlevania. I think it's Castlevania 1. I don't remember because it's been
just tell me what you got.
Forever. There's no password. It's literally you have to sit there and clear it in one sitting, or you're.
Oh no, that is Castlevania 1. You're right. That is.
Yeah, that is true. Okay. All right.
Yeah, because I think the reason why we can put this here is that this game, they sort of admitted that it was good, but we could have did it better because they remade it in Super Castlevania 4, which is just Castlevania 1, but remade with extra levels.
I experience wise, you can highlight both things and OBS just moves simultaneously.
I would hope so, but nope.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's whatever.
It's cool. But no, you're right. But me personally, because Castlevania is one of those genres that I'm super into. I just treat them as their own games, and because there's nothing like playing the first Castlevania. That's that's a very unique experience. And it's not like the other Castlevania games. It's different. Like you said, it was stage-based. It's different in that regard.
Mind you, look, there will be a Castlevania game that is way higher on the list when we get to
Oh, you betcha.
I'm sure, but I'm sure. I just wanted to pick y'all brains and see what y'all thought of Metroid versus Castlevania. Because I literally beat Metroid in one sitting.
That's
it depends on the game,
I only played it one time, beat it in one sitting, and just kind of forgot about it.
I'll put it this way: Symphony of Night is better than Super Metroid. But
No.
It's good where it is. I think it's good where it is.
Yes. As far as this list is concerned, it's good where it is.
I think this is it. So
I really want to talk about Donkey Kong though.
Now,
before we settle that, I want to talk about Donkey Kong. All right. Why?
What do you mean why?
Why?
I will say, Donkey Kong is my favorite arcade game of all time, even more than Street Fighter. I could play Donkey Kong over and over and over and over again, just trying to get the high score. That's just what I do. It's easy. Something about the game just kind of clicks in my head. I can just play it. For hours.
For its reasoning being this top 10 is that, first of all, it's fuck mothering Donkey Kong. Anybody can understand it. The second reason is that part of it is kind of what it was, which it was when Donkey Kong first came out on the arcade, there was not a single home console, a port of Donkey Kong that could perfectly replicate it until the NES.
That still wasn't a perfect replication, but it was the closest.
It was the closest you could get.
Yes.
And I think that alone is a testament to like the leap in power that the NES had over everything else.
It didn't have the pie level.
No, it didn't. Don't worry, we got the pie level in the Game Boy. But like, it's fucking Donkey Kong. It's super simple. Everybody understands it. And let's be honest, man. He's fucking Donkey Kong. Who doesn't love Donkey Kong?
It's on like Donkey Kong.
I like Donkey Kong's world. DK himself.
Well, this is technically Cranky Kong now, but
well, I mean, I know this is what I mean. Like lore wise, like all the connected stuff. That's what I like. Okay, about Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I like how they tied the games into each other. This in particular franchise seems to be a lot more competent with their impromptu retcons and storytelling than anything else.
I will say, I do prefer DKC2 and DK, like all the Donkey Kong countries. I much prefer than the arcade Donkey Kong, but I still really, 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 really like the arcade Donkey Kong.
I mean, you put it in number 10.
It's
if it was
middle.
Any higher, I would.
Yeah.
If it was any higher, I'd continue to argue. But no, okay, fine. It's whatever.
All right.
I just never thought this game was anything that special.
Last on the list.
it's special on the like global phenomenon scale, right?
I think Zelda takes it.
I agree.
I've never played a Zelda game.
Mario, my beloved, is number 2. Zelda 1. You know, it was literally, here's the formula, and then they did it for like the next 5 games.
They did it for the next 30 years.
Except for Zelda 2, obviously.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Zelda 1 has replayability that Mario 3 doesn't, because you can enter the codes to constantly get harder quests and harder maps and harder...
Yep.
I said number 1 based on the versatility. You know, I've never played a Zelda game, but I know how complex it is versus Mario. Mario is a very simple game.
Mario is Nintendo's mascot, but the Zelda franchise is sort of like... I put it this way. Every couple of years, Nintendo walks in and slaps a Zelda game on the table, and the entire industry jaw drops and hits the floor. They don't do that with Mario, so I think that says something about the legacy of Zelda.
I feel like especially at this point, maybe even go like 10 years back. I feel like the Zelda franchise and the Mario franchise were kind of like synonymous as like the representatives of Nintendo.
Yeah. They still are to this day.
Like, I don't think Mario really has. I mean, Mario probably is recognized more, but like, you know, that's like the Ronald McDonald effect. Everybody knows who Ronald McDonald is all across the planet, but like.
But as you know, like they said, now Mario is more recognized than Mickey Mouse is.
Same with Pikachu.
Oh yeah, because like they weren't doing nothing with Mickey. What were they doing with Mickey outside of Kingdom Hearts?
Anyway, I think this is our definitive tier list, or top 20 list.
Using the power of democracy.
Yes. Comrade.
I wouldn't call that democracy, but sure.
I love democracy.
So, number 1, Zelda. Number 2, Mario 3. Number 3, Mega Man 2. Oh my god, all these numbers are messing with my head. Number 4 is Kirby's Adventure. Number 5 is Final Fantasy. Number 6 is Tetris. Number 7 is Duck Hunt. Number 8 is Metroid. Number 9 is Castlevania. Number 10 is Donkey Kong. Number 11 is DuckTales. Woohoo! Number 12 is Mario Bros. Mario 13. Oh my god. Number 13 is Dragon Warrior, or Dragon Quest, or whatever you want to call it. Number 14 is Punch-Out. Number 15 is Tiny Toon. Number 16 is Ghost and Goblins. Number 17 is Kid Icarus. Number 18 is Ice Climber. Number 19 is Dr. Mario. Number 20 is Contra. That is our list. Guys, thanks for joining me on this. This has been awesome.
You're welcome. I had
An hour of my life I'll never get back.
Nope. An hour and 12 minutes I've been recording. I'm sure I'm gonna cut it. I'm sure I'm sure I'm gonna cut it down, but that's what the recording's at right now. But yeah, does anybody want to shout themselves out before I end the video?
Not really, honestly.
Where have you been?
I don't do anything. So
I've just been listening. I've had nothing to say.
It's like he resurrected.
I told you earlier, I'm just gonna
you
listen.
can literally go through and mute every time Ob talks, and the video would stay the same.
Take a shot every time Oz talks.
I told you I was just sitting
He's
here
the
listening.
12 minutes.
Oh shit.
If that. Oh, if that. No, okay, well, I mean, just because I do have a YouTube channel, yo, it's the man in the mask, Blaque Pauldron. I haven't uploaded in years, but that's because I've been working on lots and lots and lots of good stuff. And I'm also in a couple of movies, so I've been very, very busy, but I will be back. So go over there, there's plenty of stuff on there. You can laugh at me doing my dumb old early uploads, or you can check out Whispers in the Dark, which is currently in a state of being re-edited. But yeah, that's me.
Hell yeah. Kaz?
I'm also
Sherry?
on TikTok as Blaque
Oh,
Pauldron.
sorry.
I don't have anything, so nope.
All
I
right.
just forgot to plug TikTok. That's all.
And if you want to see more with me and Pauldron specifically, we've done, the previous GameCube tier list, which we are going to be updating eventually. As well as back in 2019, we went to Anime North for an IRL meetup thing, and that was pretty sick. And I have since re-uploaded it onto my main channel, so you can go check that out if you are so inclined. It was a very fun time, and I hope something happens sometime kind of soon, question mark. We'll see about that. But yeah. Yeah. I'm sure this is not the only tier list we're doing, so you're definitely going to hear these guys again. So.
I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness.
This has been Red the Super Namek, and I am signing out. Peace!